Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy, and in my channel I talk about plants and my life and journey with my plants. I'm super excited to make this month's top 10 Hoya video because you guys know I was away for almost 3 weeks, so it's really nice to come home to see like big changes in my Hoyas. I'm usually home and checking on my Hoyas like every day. So then because of that, it just makes it feel like they're growing like incrementally slow. So it was so lovely to be away for a while and then come back to see these beautiful new leaves. So I'm really excited to show you some of the Hoyas that are, that's put out some beautiful new leaves for me. I also brought one Disciplia to show you guys because I find it to be exceptionally gorgeous at the moment as well. So without further ado, let's just get started. And most of these Hoyas I'm showing you because they have kind of blew me away for how gorgeously they have been growing since I've been away. And the first one I want to show you is probably one of my very favorite at the moment. It was actually on my list last month for my top 10 favorite Hoya. And I posted this on my on my Instagram as well, and I just want to highlight this guy one more time. This is the Hoya lacanosa mint coin. I got this from, I'll put her name on the screen, but I haven't had a lot of luck with lacanosa, which is kind of funny. I think this is the reason why I actually have two on my list today, because I'm really happy for how they have been doing. So yeah, I was really surprised to come home. So like these were the leaves that were already there when I first got the Hoya, and then these bigger, rounder ones are the surprise like leaves that I found when I came home. I guess I know that they're capable of growing really big because like look at these, this leaf is much bigger than some of the other ones, but yeah, I'm finding the new leaves that's growing out in my condition has this like a rounder character that kind of really makes the name mint coin to be super apt. And just the little dots on the leaves are so beautiful. So yeah, this one has been growing gorgeously. I'm tempted to take some cuttings to grow a bigger pot and maybe even share and tray, but because I haven't had really good luck with this particular like lacanosas in general, I'm just a little bit scared to disturb it. So I think I'm just gonna keep it growing for a little while longer and then see. But then again, it will probably be smart of me to have an insurance plan, right? I think I could take a cutting from here. There's like lots of areas here for me to root. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. And there's no new growth on the top anyway, so I think I will take a cutting over here to root another plant. But yeah, this one is really just bringing me so much joy at the moment. Super gorgeous. That's the first one. So maybe I'll just show you the second lacanosa that I think that's making me really happy right now. And it's still really small. Every time I show it, it's still really small. And then it's like gone through like root rot a couple times already. So when I came home to see these like darker, shinier leaves and the new growth, it just makes me super happy. And there it is. This is just like a tiny little regular lacanosa, and you can see the like some baby leaves growing in here too. And all these darker leaves were all new growth. I find this to be very, very beautiful. It's like the leaves are very succulent and very elegant. Yeah, when this grows well, it always is one of my favorites. I love the leaf shape of this guy. Yeah, and I could see some root mealybugs in here. Speaking of root mealybugs, so my general practice now, instead of like treating it, is just to cut off all the roots and start over. But there are some times, like for this instance, this plant is actively growing right now. I just don't really want to cut off its roots. So I'm just opting to maybe like keep it isolated a little bit, but then wait for the roots to, wait for the plant to be not growing anymore, and then I'll go and chop off all the roots and like start the plant over. I don't know if that's a good strategy, but I just don't want to cut roots when the plant is actively growing. So there's another plant that's same thing. This is my Hoya variegata, and this plant was not doing well for me, so I took multiple cuttings and I rooted it in pond. And it took a super long time until like right before I went on my trip, I saw this new leaf came out, and then it grew like a non-variegated one, which is totally fine. I think it's really beautiful. And because I had these new leaves growing, even though I noticed some root mealies, I decided to like not do anything about it until after the growing finishes. Then I'll take drastic measures to like cut off all the roots and restart the plant over. So this is another one, but this new leaf is so beautiful and I'm really enjoying it despite the little bit of the pest issue. I think root mealybug is just like kind of like mealybugs. It's really hard to eradicate. Maybe something that I'll just have to learn to live with and grow with. Okay, so how many have we gone through? 3. The next one I want to show you, this one actually, I have lost my original one, and my friend Shannon found out that I didn't have this plant anymore, so she gave me a small cutting, and it has just been growing really, really well in sphagnum moss. So I just want to show you guys. I'm really enjoying it right now because it's doing so well. And this is, I don't really know its actual name. I just always call it Hoya Bella, Alba Marginata. But yeah, I'm just really grateful that from like a tiny little cutting, it has now grown into a little plant. Once it grows a little bit bigger, and maybe I could even just cut it here and root it again to have 2 plants in here to get a bigger pot. But it is still growing really well, so I'm just gonna let it do its thing for a little while. But I'm really happy that I have this plant growing again. Yeah, this actually, the same story with my other one, the variegated one. It's not growing as well, so I'm not featuring it in this video. But I thought the whole plant had root rot and died. But then there was just like a couple like little leaves I threw in my prop box, and then it ended up living, and now it's grown into like a more substantial like strand of plants. But that one is not growing as fast as this one, which is funny. I keep talking more and more. I used to find this plant to be slower growing, but yeah, it really just depends on the cutting, I think. Sometimes you're lucky. You end up with a plant with really strong genes, and it's a really good cutting, and then they grow really well. Sometimes you're not as lucky. Okay, the next plant I want to show you guys is my Hoya Patricia. This one again also, I've given it root rot multiple times and rerooted it multiple times. So I feature this as one of my favorite plants, favorite Hoyas ones, because it's put out like this big leaf compared to the previous big leaf. But then since I featured it, I gave it root rot and then rerooted it again. And then when I came back from a trip, I noticed that it's put out like this even bigger leaf. Then like this one already kind of blew me away by how much bigger it is. And then this guy is just even bigger than this one and super shiny, and I think it's so beautiful. And there's more new leaves coming, but I accidentally dropped this pot when I was bringing it over to show you guys, and the tip of a new leaf broke off, which is really annoying. But it looks like there are 3 new leaves growing, and then the top is still actively growing. But yeah, this leaf is so pretty. I love it. There's that one. I'm kind of running through this pretty quickly because I wasn't going to make a video today, but then Wolfie has gone to the playground with Jordan, and I just kind of like, oh, okay, it's 5:30. I still have time to make a little video and then make dinner. So that's why I'm here, but I feel a little bit not too prepared. Okay, how many is that? Anyways, so the next plant I want to show you is my Hoya Guangoyana. This guy. So this plant hasn't been growing for a really long time, and right before I left for the trip, I know that it was growing new leaves, and when I came home, it's gotten the new leaf has finished growing, and it's so pretty, and it's got like this one little speckle, but it's so shiny and dark. I really love this plant. The other leaves are kind of pale. I wonder if it's because like I gave it too much light, but you can see like the newer leaves are all darker in color. Really pretty. And there's like some new growth still going, but I really like this one because of this particular new leaf. I just think it's really, really handsome and very pretty. And then I also want to show you this plant. I made a tray with my friend Mom and Plants Jing, and it was a cutting, and it took a really long time for it to start growing. It rooted really quickly, but all the new leaves grew while I was away, which is kind of interesting. I came home and I was just kind of shocked that it's put out 3 new leaves in the span of like 3 weeks that I was gone. So this is the 2-leaf cutting that she gave me. And this is a Verticillata no ID. And then when I came home, I found that it's given me this beautiful splashy leaves, and really interesting that and then on the top it's got these 2 other leaves, which is so funny because it's so much smaller than the previous 3 leaves. And I wonder if it's because it has no support, or because the growing environment was changed a little bit. I'm not sure, but it's just really interesting to observe. But overall, I'm just so in love with this plant. All the splashy, beautiful leaves that it's put out. Yeah, very gorgeous. There's that one. I kind of just loop it around to save space, but maybe I need to find a way to trellis it. Here it is. And the next plant I want to show you actually is a plant that I've had a really hard time with. I've never been able to get it to grow well. I've always taken cutting of it, and it's really easy to root, but then the rooted cuttings never really grow, and the mother plant doesn't really grow. And I've had this plant for more than a year now, and this is like the first time I'm seeing it having like a growth spur. And by growth spur, really it's got like 2 new leaves going for me. And this is the Hoya Rangsang. So this is the new leaf that greeted me when I came home. I'm really, really happy about it. And that's from one cutting. And actually the other cutting has a baby leaf coming too over here. So yeah, and yeah, I've just never had the pleasure of experiencing this plant to be growing and like its new leaves. Really lovely to be able to experience that. Do I see a scale? Let me see. But yeah, just really happy that it's growing. All right, all the ones. There's one more that I brought over, which is my absolute favorite Hoya at the moment. And then there's, I think, one more in the grow tent that I want to show you, but I'll just bring the camera in because it's mounted on the moss wall. But this Hoya, I got just like a 1-leaf cutting from my friend Alice. And it rooted in my care, and when I went away, it decided to grow, and it's so beautiful. This one is a Hoya Coriacea Splash. Hold on, let me just show you. This is the 1-leaf cutting that I bought from her, and it's just been rooting in perlite. But check out the new leaves. Look at how insanely silver and splashy and beautiful they are. I was really blown away. I think it's just so absolutely gorgeous. But these new leaves are still super tender, so I shouldn't touch them or mess around too much. And this is the more mature leaf. It's much darker. So pretty. Yeah, this is definitely a surprise how beautiful this plant is. Okay, so like I brought a Disciplia to show you guys because I think it's growing really beautifully. And then I'm going to bring you guys into the grow tent. And I kind of feel like my energy is like dwindling away as I'm speaking. So this is the Disciplia Hersuta. It looks like a fuller pot right now because I actually just took multiple cuttings of this plant and rooted them this morning in here. Because like, look at these new leaves. It just seems to be pretty happy growing in this pond. So I've decided to like cut multiple pieces of this plant to like try to grow in here. What's really interesting to me is that the original plant that I got, they're all kind of like these little plump leaves. And I was wondering if it's a different type of Hersuta than the one that my friend Jing has. But as you can see, the new leaves that grew out, they're pretty flat and like bigger in size. That resembles a lot more like the one that she has. So I think they're the same kind. They just grow a little bit different in different environments. But don't you think this is so pretty? It's got like little abs and it's really fuzzy. This is definitely hands down my favorite Disciplia that I own. And I just would love for it to grow well and have more of these beautiful little leaves that grow out. There's that one. All right, let's go in the grow tent and look at the final, like my favorite Hoya at the moment, and then we'll say goodbye. Check out how busy the grow tent is right now. Okay, so my last one I want to highlight is actually this Hoya AH074. It hasn't grown for me for a really long time. And then when I came back, sorry, the microphone keeps rolling. I noticed that it's put out this beautiful silvery leaf for me. As you guys can see, it's like got a lot of really like splashy leaves, but not super silver. So I was super happy to see that it's put out such a pretty leaf on this moss wall. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and the top 10 favorite Hoyas and the extra little Disciplia. I really love these plants. I'm so happy to come home to have them greet me. All right, so I will see you. So I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to go make dinner now. We'll see you guys in a few days. Bye.